Discover the story of the mysterious Jebusites, ancient inhabitants of Jerusalem. Have you ever heard of the people who inhabited the city of Jerusalem before the Israelites? The Jebusites were one of the oldest people associated with the history of the region. In this video, we will explore who these mysterious pre-Israelite inhabitants were and what happened to them. Welcome to Daily Biblical History. Today, we will explore an inspiring message to strengthen your faith and bring peace to your heart. Leave a like to support our channel and subscribe if you are not already subscribed so you don't miss any of the motivational content we post here. The Jebusites are first mentioned in the Bible as part of the 7 peoples who inhabited Canaan. They are presented as a Canaanite clan in Genesis chapter 10 and verse 16, associated with the descendants of Ham, the son of Noah. Although they are classified as Canaanites in the geographical and genealogical sense, there is evidence that points to a more diverse ethnic composition. Texts such as Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 3 highlight that Jerusalem had mixed roots, with its original inhabitants described as descendants of Amorites and Hittites. Indeed, the specific characteristics of the Jebusites, including cultural and linguistic practices, distinguished them from other groups. Archaeologically, the Jebusites can be more closely linked to the Amorites, a people central to the formation of the city-states of Canaan. For example, the name of King Adoni-Zedek, mentioned in Joshua chapter 10 and verse 1 as ruler of Jerusalem, was an Amorite name, as was the name of King Melchizedek of Abraham's time. The Jebusites, descendants of Noah's son Ham, were an intriguing people who inhabited the mountainous region where Jerusalem is located today. Although they were classified as Canaanites, their ethnic composition was complex and diverse. Texts such as Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 3 indicate that Jerusalem had mixed roots, with its original inhabitants described as descendants of Amorites and Hittites. This ethnic diversity was reflected in their cultural and linguistic practices, which were distinct from other Canaanite groups in the region. In addition, the Jebusites maintained political and cultural relations with other Canaanite city-states, such as the Ites and Amorites, which evidenced their integration into the complex social network of the time. The Jebusites, as inhabitants of the mountainous region where Jerusalem is now located, had a well-structured hierarchical society. Their leadership was organized around local kings, who exercised political and military authority over the city. The Jebusite political and religious elite governed Jerusalem, maintaining its fortified defenses and organizing major architectural projects, such as the Gaon Tunnel. Jebusite society was probably hierarchical, with a clear division between the ruling elite and the general population. In addition, the Jebusites were integrated into the city-state system of Canaan, interacting diplomatically and militarily with other groups in the region. Under Jebusite rule, Jerusalem stood out as a strategically positioned and well-protected city. Located on a mountain spur, the city was surrounded by natural valleys that provided defense against possible attacks. In addition, the Jebusite inhabitants reinforced their defenses with impressive architectural developments, making Jerusalem a virtually impenetrable fortress. The city's name and references to its rulers in ancient texts, such as the Amarna letters, testify to the prominence of Jerusalem in the political and economic contexts of the time. The city's natural position, protected by the Kidron and Hinnom valleys, combined with the Gaon Spring as its main source of water, sustained urban life and contributed to its strategic importance in the region. During Joshua's campaigns of conquest, the Jebusites were one of the Canaanite peoples who offered the most fierce resistance to the Israelites. Led by Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, the Jebusites joined forces with other Canaanite city-states to try to repel the Israelites' advances. Adoni-Zedek led a coalition of 5 Amorite kings against Joshua's army in a decisive battle at Beth Horon. Despite the courage and strategy of the Jebusites, they were defeated by the Israelites. The tenacious resistance of the Jebusites during the campaigns of conquest is a defining moment in the history of these ancient pre-Israelite inhabitants of Jerusalem. After the defeat of the Jebusites at the hands of King David, Jerusalem became the unified capital of Israel. The conquest of the city by the Israelites under David's command was a milestone in biblical history as it transformed Jerusalem into a political and spiritual center of great importance. Recognizing the strategic position of the city, situated on the border between the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, David decided to establish it as the capital of the unified kingdom. Around 1000 BC, David launched a strategic attack on Jerusalem, recognizing its political and military importance. The conquest of the city from the Jebusites was an emblematic event that symbolized the unification of the Israelite tribes under the reign of David. From that moment on, Jerusalem underwent a series of construction and fortification works, consolidating its position as the political and spiritual center of the unified kingdom of Israel. After the initial defeat of the Jebusites by Joshua, the city of Jerusalem was temporarily captured by the tribe of Judah, who burned part of the city. However, the Jebusites quickly regained control and rebuilt their fortified defenses. During the period of the Judges, Jerusalem remained a Jebusite city, often described as alien and separate from the Israelite tribes. The mention of the Jebusite Valley on the edge of Judah's territory highlights the closeness and ongoing tension between the Jebusites and the Israelites. Even in the face of tribal conflicts in Israel, the Jebusites managed to maintain their independence for centuries, reinforced by their natural defenses and the cultural cohesion of their inhabitants. After David's conquest of Jerusalem, the city underwent a significant transformation. David recognized the strategic importance of Jerusalem, situated in a key geographical position between the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Deciding to establish it as the capital of the unified kingdom of Israel, David initiated a period of intense building activity in the city. He undertook projects to fortify Jerusalem, expand its borders, and improve its infrastructure. One of his most notable achievements was the construction of the royal palace, which became the center of the kingdom's political and administrative power. In addition, David promoted religious centralization in Jerusalem, preparing the ground for the future construction of the temple. His strategic vision and his ability to unify the Israelite tribes were instrumental in establishing Jerusalem as not only the political capital, but also the spiritual heart of Israel. After David's conquest of Jerusalem and the assimilation of the Jebusites into the Israelite population, many remnants of this ancient people were integrated into the labor force recruited for construction projects in the city. Under Solomon's reign, the Jebusites were included in several construction projects, including the construction of the temple in Jerusalem. The biblical text records that David purchased from Araunah the Jebusite the threshing floor where the future temple would be built, demonstrating a continued interaction between the Israelites and the former inhabitants of the city. The presence of the Jebusites in the historical record during this post-conquest period indicates a gradual adaptation to the new Israelite regime and an active contribution to the development of the city. Over time, the Jebusite identity faded into the Israelite population, leaving no significant records other than late references in genealogical lists in later books. Although they disappeared as a distinct ethnic group, the legacy of the Jebusites can be seen in several archaeological structures found in Jerusalem. Notable among these structures is the Gihon Tunnel, an impressive feat of hydraulic engineering built by the city's ancient inhabitants. This tunnel, which connected the Gihon Spring to the interior of Jerusalem's walls, was essential for ensuring a water supply during sieges and conflict situations. In addition, the stone platforms on the eastern slope of the city expanded the living space, and demonstrated the technical skill and social organization of the Jebusites. Even after the Israelite conquest, many of these structures were adapted and incorporated into the city's ongoing development. The prominent presence of the Jebusites in Jerusalem's early infrastructure highlights their historical importance and contribution to the shape of the city that would become a landmark in human history. If you are interested in studying the Word of God in depth and clarity, check out our online theology course. Access the information in the video description or in the first pinned comment. I hope you enjoyed this incredible journey through the history of the Jebusites in Jerusalem. Don't forget to leave a comment, sharing your impressions and experiences. Thanks for watching. Are you enjoying the message? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this motivational word today, and leave your comment. We want to know how this message impacted your life.